Hello and welcome to the Killstream. I am your host, Ethan Ralph, the owner and the editor-in-chief of the Ralph Retort. Oh, I still have the fan on low. Even though I don't think you can hear it, I'm going to turn it off anyway. Welcome back to the Killstream. Again, killstream.live, all the info, support links, / the Ralph Retort, the shop.theralphretort.com, all that shit. I'll wait till the end of the stream to promote more. I see Gators here. Warski's coming. Michael Jones, I believe that's him. Possibly him right there. Might just be him right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're working on the audio. We're on the air right now. Let me read through some of these super chats while we work on that. Lord Xenu WT Laws just said, "Let's fucking go." Thank you, Lord Zenu. CGI Seagull says 10-hour stream. Probably not. Probably not 10 hours tonight, but we'll see. Cooper says Hendrix was murdered. Oh, wait. I already read those. Those are from last night. What the D-Live is just... I never can tell what I'm going to get on their super chats here. Okay. Now, hold on. Let me make sure.
This is why I'm trying to figure out the Superberry app.
Why is it showing last night's? Okay. Lord Zenu, WT Laws, I did read that one. That was from tonight. Sweaterbox says, was that a funeral or a chariot race? Podcast gang rise up. Ethan Ralph is my daddy, 420. Yank my crank said that. Then he gave 1, 2, 3 more diamonds and gifted a 1-month subscription. Very kind of him indeed. All right, now let me try to refresh this and see if it's back on. Okay, good. Just making sure it didn't say Tropico 6 because I did play a little bit of Tropico earlier tonight. Guitar Anthony says 100,000 lemons means 10-hour stream. Oh god. I mean, wouldn't be the worst thing, I guess, but still. Is Dr. Jones here? Let me see if they can.
I think they're still getting set up.
Okay, that's cool. Now there's a couple things we can cover while they still get set up, Gator. Cops. This just came across the wire, I guess, right before we came on the air. Cops.
Like right before.
Cops, one of my, like right when we were coming on the air. Cops, one of the legendary programs of my youth, it's gone. They canceled it.
Yeah, it's toast.
Now, is there only one way to, kind of pay tribute? We've paid tribute already this last couple weeks, but I feel like there's only one way with a chat full of Fs to pay tribute to this Gator. If you look in the show links, I think you guys know what time it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's play it now.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do? Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If
they took
you get
cops
hot,
from us.
then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother.
All right, we have no idea what else they're saying during the actual song. I have no idea what they're saying. I just know the bad. I just know the bad boys are coming for you, and you don't want that to happen. During the song, I don't know that. Who knows what the fuck they're saying during the song itself? But basically, you don't want the police to whip your ass, come and kick your ass. That's the gist of it? I think, right?
Yeah, basically.
Oh man, so you're telling me George Floyd cost me Cops, the television program? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, he did.
Worski said they're changing Live PD to Live Rescue.
Oh no.
Sure, that'll last for a while. Live Rescue. God. It's sad.
What a disaster.
What do you think about this?
Especially because like who are they gonna call? The Ghostbusters now when they've got a freaking, a guy trying to break into their house? Like what, who thinks this is a good idea?
I don't know. Yank my crank.
The world has gone mad. The world's gone completely insane.
Yank my crank says #ERM, Ethan Ralph Matters. Subculture, dlive.tv/subculture with the host. We're also, that's Mr. Worski, of course. We're also live on intrabystream.live/the Ralph Retort. Also, I think we're up on Killstream Uncut as well, but I haven't checked just yet. Yes, we are up on Killstream Uncut, all one word, over on YouTube, The Mirror. Thank you very kindly for mirroring us. Now, do we have Dr. Jones just yet? Let me check my Twitter DMs as well, just in case. Okay, they say they're ready. Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, hold on. I can't actually.
He hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah, I can't hear them. Okay, let me see. They just said. I can't hear you. I know this is first time
Riveting.
ever tech problems. This has never happened in the history of the kill stream. I do apologize.
You know how it goes.
We will get it on
Can you hear me?
target. Yes, we can hear you and see you now.
Ethan?
Yes. Now you're not that loud. It sounds like the mic's a little far away, but we can see you and hear you now.
You can see us here?
Yes. Definitely.
Okay, great.
Okay. Dr. Jones, you're here on the kill stream once again, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Just been covering the unrest. I guess that has been the main topic here on the kill stream the last week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. What are your thoughts on the riots and that sort of thing?
Well, I think if you look at the image that we have, you see this white cop kneeling on a black man, got his knee on his neck, and there's already a story that's programmed into that. If you're an American, especially if you're an American who has been raised in the last 50 years and gone to public school, because the narrative is the civic religion in America, which is the civil rights movement. It's been institutionalized. It's the religion that we all have to adhere to. It's mandatory. If you don't do it, if you deviate from this religion, you will be punished one way or the other. So that's some indication it's the state religion. So it's the authoritarian white guy and the black victim. But if you ask other people, they see something different. So if you ask the Palestinians, they look at it and they say, oh, that's the knee hold that the Israelis put on Palestinians. And if you look into that, you realize what's been happening here over the past, let's say ever since 9/11. This was a watershed moment. It was also a windfall for anybody associated with Michael Chertoff, because there were all these grants that were given. And the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, at this point got involved in what I've called the Israelicization of American police forces. What I mean by that is that the ADL will either pay to have your local police force shipped off to Israel to attend seminars during which they will learn things like this neck hold, and more importantly, they will learn that American policemen are supposed to treat American citizens in the way Israelis treat Palestinians. And if they don't send the whole police force or the police chief over there, they'll bring the Israelis over here. And that's precisely what happened in Chicago in 2012. And it turns out that the Minneapolis police force attended one of these seminars in Chicago. So if the mountain doesn't go to Muhammad, Muhammad goes to the mountain, or vice versa. So the Israelis came here, and we don't know whether Derek Chauvin took that course. We don't know that yet, but lots of people have. And this is not the only place where that has happened. It's happened across the country. I've complained about it. A few years ago, our illustrious gay mayor, Pete Buttigieg, tried to pull this fast one on the people of South Bend. We had a black police chief who was a local man, and he was immediately fired because of some pre-election deal that Pete had made with the movers and shakers in the Democratic Party and the police force. And then we had a Jewish fellow show up who was going to choose our police chief for us. Well, wait a minute. We don't need your help. We have plenty of people here that we can choose because the police force is citizens in uniform. And you want a policeman who comes from the community, understands the community, and will defend the community. That's what we want. We don't want Israelis coming and kneeling on Palestinians. Okay, now that's one half of that picture.
Right.
Let's look at the other half. The other half is George Floyd lying on the ground. Okay, we've already talked about the white half, the police half. Now we're going to talk about the black half. This is even easier to talk about because we have a group that speaks for all, in the name of all these people, and it's called Black Lives Matter. And it turns out that this is supported by another Jew by the name of George Soros. This group came into existence a couple of years ago with the Trayvon Martin case in Florida. It made a big splash with the police brutality when Michael Brown got killed in Ferguson, Missouri. It turned out when we looked into it, then nobody knew much about it. It turns out that when we looked into it, the head of Black Lives Matter, a black guy, was the son of a man who earned $7 million a year. So it doesn't sound like underprivileged, but it turns out also that George Soros was funding Black Lives Matter to the tune of, depending on who you talk to, $34 million is the figure that came up there. So what you have here is a conflict that's being orchestrated by people who are invisible. The real players here are invisible, and we're not allowed to talk about them because that's simply the way things are. It turns out that this goes back a long way. Okay, it used to be known, this configuration used to be known as the Civil Rights Movement. And the Civil Rights Movement was, in effect, the culmination of something called the Black Jewish Alliance. So that goes all the way back to the death of Leo Frank in, I believe it was 1915, down south. He was accused of raping and murdering Mary Fagan, 13-year-old girl who worked in his pencil factory. He was convicted repeatedly. And he never could. No one could seem to carry out the sentence. The governor of that state, on his last day in office, commuted the sentence, and the people of Alabama were so outraged. 2,000 armed men marched on the governor's mansion. There was a machine gun there on the front steps, and the governor had escaped to New York City, where he was treated as a hero, and Leo Frank got lynched. And there are people, I respect Harold Cruz, for example, who was actually ended the Black Jewish Alliance, that phase of it, with a book called The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. He said that the Civil Rights Movement was Jewish revenge for Leo Frank. Either way, what we've had here is, how many years have we had this? It depends on where you want to start. You could start in 1915. You could start in 1954 with Brown versus School Board, which launched the modern civil rights movement. Wherever you want to start, you've had basically 50 years of people a group that is trying to create race war in this country by creating animosity between blacks and whites in the interest of overthrowing the government, which is precisely what happened in the South during the civil rights movement. Not only that, let's put it even more succinctly. What's worse than that is public education, because there are basically three things you learn if you go to a public school. And so you learn Rosa Parks. She sat in a bus, in the front of the bus. Martin Luther King, he organized those marches, and then you learn about the Holocaust. And that's it, pretty much. Maybe you learn how to add and subtract, maybe, but that's pretty much it. That's what you learn. And that is the mythology that everyone has internalized. And as a result, you have a situation where the people here, people in authority, are completely paralyzed. They're paralyzed. So you've got the situation. Let's go back to Minneapolis. You got a Jewish mayor there. How did this guy, he didn't grow up there. How did he get elected? Well, he called himself a civil rights lawyer. Well, there's, again, you're invoking this sacred cause. Okay. And he goes and he's blindsided by what happened here. He doesn't know what to do. He shows up at a rally. This was on, there's a YouTube video on this thing where there's this lady who represents Black Lives Matter. And so she has this sacred cause there. And she's denouncing, she said, we have to abolish the police force. And the mayor, it turns out, is standing there. He's standing there in the audience. And so she looks at him and said, are you going to abolish the police force? And everybody puts a microphone in front of him. And he says, well, no. And at that point, they drive him away.
We have to get that clip, by the way. We haven't shown that on the show yet. We need to show it. Go ahead, yeah, but continue.
Yeah, so by the way, so they drive him away. And so this really is reminiscent of two things popped to my mind. The Cultural Revolution in China in 1966 and the French Revolution in Paris in 1789. You have a situation where the regime has been overthrown. Now, this is the mayor of Minneapolis. He's the leader. He's the ruler in some sense or other. And he's totally incapable of preserving or maintaining or restoring order. The order has collapsed. And now it looks as if 9 of the 13 council members, 9 of the 12, are going to pass a motion to abolish the police department. This is a revolutionary situation. It didn't happen overnight. It happened because of all of the things that I've mentioned here. And basically, all of the people of the United States, if you've gone to public school, if you watch television, if you go to see Hollywood movies, you've internalized this drama. You've internalized all of these values. And so you've reached a point now where someone can swagger up to you, like say you're a young lady walking down the street. There's also a video of this. And some guy walks up and he says, I represent Black Lives Matter. And, oh, okay. And I want you to kneel down and apologize for being white. And this lady does that. This is an incredible situation here, where basically it looks as if huge numbers of Americans have simply internalized the commands of this the Jewish revolutionary spirit. They have internalized it. And so when you invoke this, they do what you say. And that is this revolutionary movement. And I don't think you can understand what's going on unless you bring that into play.
All right, let me read these. A couple Ninja Guineas. Pyrus777 says EMJ, slapping the commies, pure heaven. Then he says bow tie nationalism. The Thin Red Line says, what is the intro music? The first one is the theme for BoJack Horseman. The second one is a remix of the Killstream theme, which there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different versions of. Different musical styles of the Killstream theme. Sweaterbox says, tell me real stories of the Highway Patrol is good. I don't know if it's still good or not, but they did cancel Cops right before the show came on the air. Let's see. D-Live alerts somehow biggest boomer. Live Rescue, that was from Funger Rumples. Stacy Marcherie says Live Rescue equals endless Narcan injections. I think Narcan. Thinks what she meant. Lord Zenu WT Law says base Bill Nye. Pyrus 777 with 1, 2 diamonds. Cooper says I love playing two-hand touch, drinking way too much and twins. I don't know. Oh, that's a commercial, I think, actually. Maximus the Merciful says, quick question. What does he think about the Jews? Well, I don't know. That's probably not a quick one, but Bunger Rumple says, please tell me this hero's guarded day and night. Jack Darks with the diamond. Let me also check entropy. What I was going to ask you was the dichotomy in the media between some who want to blame the whole thing on Antifa, or just white people were the only ones they saw rioting or causing mass damage. When, I mean, that obviously wasn't the case. Not that there wasn't Antifa there, which, I mean, there was, but the whole idea that this was Just these were whites that got out of control during these riots. That doesn't really pass the smell test, does it?
Well, look, what is the role of the Jew in the revolution? He's the revolutionary avant-garde. Look at the Russian Revolution. Was every Bolshevik a Jew? No. Did the Jews control the Bolshevik movement? Yes. They had leadership roles. They controlled it. So you always have the same thing. There was a joke about the Russian Revolution where Radek and Zinoviev, there were two Jews who were crucial to the Bolshevik takeover. And so they're all excited because of the 1917 revolution. They control Russia now. And Radek Zinoviev stands up and says, we took over Russia, and tomorrow it's going to be Poland, and after that's going to be Germany, and after that's going to be the entire world. And Radek pulls him aside and says, wait a minute, we don't have enough Jews to pull that off. Well, you never have enough Jews to pull it off. That's why you need proxy warriors. And the traditional proxy warrior in the United States of America were the blacks. They were the proxy warrior of choice, because the communists always felt that the only real possibility for a revolution in the United States was in the Black Belt, the former slaves down south. And they concentrated on that. They worked on that for decades, 70 years. That's their policy. They cannot exist without proxy warriors. And that's what the blacks were. I've talked about this in a number of books. First of all, in Chicago, the blacks were brought up. They were brought up during World War II to fill the factories they needed for war production, and they needed some place to stay, and they were put into the Catholic neighborhoods on the south side of Chicago. And their job was to basically engage in the type of low-grade warfare that is ideal for ethnic cleansing, and that's what happened. These are the people that are rioting, or the people today are the descendants of those people, the people that came up from Mississippi. I know those people. I've been to the South Side many times. I've written about it, and these are the descendants. These are the people that suddenly are now being mobilized again. And they're mobilized. The avant-garde would be more, I would say, more Antifa than Black Lives Matter.
All right, let's keep going here. Pyrus with some diamonds. Cooper, let's see. I see that. Let's keep going. Sweater Box says, does Mr. Jones see this as Marxist sedition?
Antifa is a Marxist group. Yes, they are a revolutionary organization. They got their start. It means anti-fascistisch. It got to start in Germany. It was a Jewish organization in Germany. You can find all of the Yiddish songs that they wrote at that time when they started this organization, and it was to oppose the brown shirts in Germany. And then it got resurrected. I don't know when. I mean, at some point, these people all dressed in black started showing up at big demonstrations in Europe. It was called the Black Bloc there, but the method, the modus operandi was always the same. There will be some type of peaceful protest. There'll be some type of cause that will drive people out into the street. And these people will use that as their cover, and they will engage in violence. That will provoke a violent response from the police. And at that point, you radicalize the nonviolent protesters because of the counter violence that the police impose. That's what's happening right now in Chicago.
What do you think the long-term prospects for the stability of the country are? Do you think it's going to be able to be held together or not?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm shocked that it got as far as it did in Minnesota. You cannot allow. Let's put it this way: there is now this mania. It's just like the Chinese Cultural Revolution, where you drag some teacher out into the street and you harangue him. You wave that little red book at him and say, "This is a counter-revolutionary. He is not carrying out the plan. And so you have to humiliate them. And he has to, in Chinese, you would say kowtow. Well, now you've got, didn't Joe Biden take a knee?
Yeah, I believe
I think
so.
he did. I think he did. I think I saw the picture. You have cops doing this. This is a disastrous situation. You've got cops basically bowing down to the criminals they're supposed to be apprehending. This does not bode well for the public order. Certainly, it doesn't bode well for the public order in places like Minneapolis, which seems to be the extreme example. There are other places where the police are determined to enforce the law. There was a guy from Polk County, a sheriff, who basically said, we know who you are, and he arrested them. And so we have a conflict here between local representative government and oligarchic institutions. It was like the Religious Freedom Restoration Act was a peaceful version of this, but now you have all of these. I think they're funded by Marxists. They're Jewish Marxist organizations. Antifa is a Jewish organization, although it's secret. I mean, we know some of the people. But what we have here is these groups basically commanding people, because the people have already internalized the Jewish revolutionary spirit, because these people took over our culture, and they took over the educational system, and they took over Hollywood, and they own the mass media. And so they've predisposed, you've had this long period of moral subversion that has gone on for, I don't know when you want to start it, 50 years. Brown versus School Board is even more than that. Whatever it is, that was about education. That was about taking over the educational process in this country and basically controlling the mind of generation after generation going to school. And now they've all internalized this paradigm of the civil rights movement, and they're ready to simply cave into it. It's stunning, but it's obviously it had to be expected. Sooner or later, this takeover of education was going to have some type of effect. And I think what we're seeing is right now. It's having its effect right now.
All right, I'm going to read these. Cooper says, and twins. Yes, that's how the old commercials went. Stacy Martiri says, happy to see Mr. Jones on. We need some logos RT right now. Sweaterbox says, does Mr. Jones, I already read that. GB99 says, off topic, but ask EMJ why phalangism failed. That is a little off topic, but did you want to answer that, or?
Are you talking about Spain? It succeeded. Franco succeeded, if that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about why Franco's legacy did not perdure in Spain, the short answer to that is the Second Vatican Council and Opus Dei. I don't know how much you want me to go into this at this point.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's there. Super chat. I think that's enough right there. Lord Zenu WT Law says, I think the doctor thinks the Jews. Wait, does the doctor? I don't know. I can't understand this one really. Does the doctor think the Jews will ever take the South? I don't know what that means exactly, but Keeper says, what about Chicago mob? Did they just disappear? Is there still a huge mob influence in Chicago or no?
You mean criminals? You mean like Al Capone?
Yeah.
You mean that type of thing?
like Italian mobsters.
No, well, only in movies. Only in the Untouchables or movies like
Where
that.
did they go? Hold on. Did they just disappear?
Well, we're talking about generational change here. Let me speak to that, okay? Because I think it's important. Because we tend to think of the mafia as an Italian operation, and it was every bit as Jewish as it was Italian. Do you know like Al Capone? You know that name. Do you know the name Meyer Lansky? Does that ring a bell? Do you know the name Modalitz? Does that ring a bell? No. Why is that? Well, the short answer to that question is the Anti-Defamation League. Okay, just to give one example, I deal with this in a little booklet I wrote about the Cincinnati Ballet. It was called How Meyer Lansky Took Over the Cincinnati
Bugsy
Ballet.
Siegel too, by the way.
Bugsy Siegel was the lieutenant for Meyer Lansky. There's a whole Hollywood mythology about these people. There are movies about them. Bugsy with Warren Beatty, for example.
Yep.
So Mo Dalitz, he's from Cleveland. He's head of an operation called the Jewish Navy. The Jewish Navy is boats that sail from Cleveland or Detroit to the Bronfman distillery in Canada. They load up with liquor and they bring it back, and then they start selling liquor. It's called prohibition, and this was the rise of organized crime. This is how organized crime got started. Then they went to Cincinnati, across the river. Supremacist or whoever we don't like. And that led to the corruption of the FBI, the politicization of the FBI, and that meant they didn't go after real criminals, which means they didn't go after Antifa. And Antifa grew and grew and grew during this period of time because no one was going after them. And they had people in the press who would run interference for these people and say, oh, they're basically good people. They're against fascism. Aren't you against fascism? Are you a fascist? And this is how they got into power. This is how they got to the point where they are today, where they are basically threatening the public order in city after city, and nobody knows who they are. That's all because of the subversion of police enforcement that's taken place over these past 30, 40, how many years you want to talk about.
All right, let's we got you for about 45 minutes. We're gonna take some calls here in a minute. Let's continue with the super chats. Pyrus777 says, defend Richmond already, Ralph. Well, I'm ensconced here in the headquarters. Rexamal says, excellent content. Thank you very much. Fungarumple says, how do we fix the takeover of education? I think that's probably a longer type question, but
no, there's a very simple answer to that. Don't defund the police department, defund the universities.
All right. That is pretty simple. Pyra777123 diamonds. Thank you very kindly. Let's see. Lord Zenu says, does the doctor think anyone will take the South? Or will our roots keep us resisting? I don't know if he has an opinion on that, but Dumpster Dassey says, what's your opinion?
Has the South did the people of Richmond defend the statue of Robert E. Lee during the Charlottesville, or had they been taken over? They had a Jewish mayor.
I haven't seen anybody defending the statue very hard. No, yeah. They have
people in the South defending those statues, so it looks as if they're not providing resistance. Then have the people of the South internalized the commands of their oppressors?
Dumpster Dassey says, what's your opinion on Laura Loomer, sir? EMJ asking you.
EMJ has no opinion on Lori Loomer.
Godzilla, good answer. Godzilla 37 resub for 3 months, now on a 11-month streak. Wow. Thank you very kindly, Godzilla, for the long-term support. Dweeble with a Ninja Genie says, make EMJ a regular guest, please.
Thank you.
I agree with that. All right, let's take some calls, actually. Dark Butters, you're on the kill stream. Go ahead, sir.
Ralph, Gator, how you doing? Dr. Jones, how are you doing this evening?
Good to be here.
So I think we have problems beyond just the universities. The universities are obviously corrupt beyond all notion and have been infiltrated by, well, I'll use the word bad actors because I value having a job, keeping my job, I suppose. But did you see what David Petraeus said about Confederate statues? He said we need to take Confederate names. He said we had to take them off our military bases. And I'm from California, so illegal immigrants are my problem, not my ancestry and heritage being destroyed. But could you imagine calling someone that marched and fought against an overwhelming force to defend his neighbors and calling that person a traitor to his country? That just seems absurd.
No, I mean, what is Petraeus? He represents the oligarchs. What you've seen is this shameful. I mean, he's kneeling, isn't he? Sounds to me as if you're kneeling, General. Is this the way you deal with your enemies? You kneel in front of them and abase yourself. You kowtow the way the professors did during the Cultural Revolution in China. You're working for the oligarchs. It was obvious a long time ago that you were working for the oligarchs. And so what are you going to do now? Military coup against Donald Trump? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's possible. Who knows? Mathis, Mad Dog Mathis, who never should have been chosen for anything because of his performance in Fallujah, which was reeking of war crimes.
Obama was right. Was Obama right about Mathis? Is that fair to say?
What did Obama say?
He basically called him out, fired him. I mean, I forget. I think it was insubordination. Basically, he fired him for. I have to go back and look, but something similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he took. If he's responsible for what happened in Fallujah, he should not have been in any public office, and he didn't last long anyway. So what you're seeing here is what we're seeing is piety toward the civic religion. And the civic religion is, as I said, the civil rights movement. And the civil rights movement is the Black Jewish Alliance. So this is, I don't need this. I have my own religion. I'm a Catholic. I don't need to bow and offer incense up to idols here. But that's what we're seeing here. And if you don't offer incense to their idols, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And you're seeing one supposed leader after another bowing down before this revolutionary God. It doesn't bode well.
All right, caller, you got anything else real quick?
No, I just want to say I completely agree. Watching our leaders kneel before this mob and these groups is disgusting, and they're traitors and should be treated as such. Thank you, Ralph. Please sunset me and have a great evening.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. Let me move you out. Mr. Magic Owl, you're on the kill stream. Go ahead.
Hey, Ralph, thanks for bringing me on. Gator, nice seeing you. E. Michael Jones, great to see you on this show for the first time. Now, I got a question about how you were saying about the Jewish revolutionary.
This is not his first time on the show. I want to correct you there. But this is the first time you've seen him, probably. All right, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, mea culpa for that mistake.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but still, my main question, though, with the Jewish revolutionaries using black activists as proxy warriors, what are your thoughts on the blacks attacking Jews in New York City? Like, it's been happening in the December, January.
That's a good question. That is a good question because you have to distinguish between the leadership and the rank and file. Is every black person a member of Black Lives Matter? No. So what happens when these are elite groups that get together for political purposes? That's what the civil rights movement was. That's what Black Lives Matter is, and so on and so forth. Now, when you get the rank and file, however, together, let's go to Brooklyn or northern New Jersey. When the blacks come in contact with the Jews, there's conflict. We had those. It turns out that at the height of this whole hate speech, hate crimes, attacks on synagogues, the whole battle over the internet. It turns out in northern New Jersey, you got blacks attacking whites, but it turns out they're not white, they're Jews. And why are they doing this? I wrote an article on this. It's in Culture Wars about 2 issues back. And it turns out, well, the Jews are their landlords and they're trying to force them out. And so you've got this conflict here. And then on top of that, you've got the attempt to disguise this conflict. Now, this goes all the way back to the Harlem riots of I believe it was 36, 37, something like that, where Fiorello LaGuardia is mayor. He's got an Italian name, but he's a Jew. And there's a riot in Harlem, and the blacks in Harlem burned down the businesses, and everybody's saying, well, it's a black and white conflict. No, it's not. It's a black-Jewish conflict. And it's a black-Jewish conflict because the Jewish merchants in Harlem at this time have a reputation for cheating people. And the blacks got sick of being cheated in their stores and sick of being cheated in terms of rent and so on and so forth. This is something you can research. Read Irving Horowitz. Irving Horowitz was a sociologist. He created Transaction Press, I believe, at Rutgers University. And he did a memoir about how his father owned a hardware store in Harlem, and they just loved to cheat the Schwarzes. They had a rigmarole every year. The blacks would bring in their Christmas bulbs to be tested, and they'd all said that they were broken, and they were just laughing at them because they were perfectly good, but they needed to sell more Christmas bulbs. And they thought this was funny. Okay, this leads to animosity on the ground level. Okay, and that's what happened in New York and New Jersey just this past year. That's different than the elites getting together and forming a political alliance, which is what the civil rights movement was.
All right, let's see. Caller, you still there? You got anything else?
No, that was a very great answer. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you as well. By the way, more callers. Gator, fire them up. Throw out the link. More. We need you to step it up, callers. I see Godzilla37 says every single time. Lord Xenu WT Law says, so what can we do to win? What would you say to that?
The first thing we have to understand is what's really going on. Because we are blind. We have all been blinded by a narrative that has been imposed on us for years now. And that's what I'm trying to do. There are actors here that are significant actors, and no one's allowed to identify them. The first thing we have to do is identify who the real actors are. And then at that point, after we identify them, then we know where the problem lies, and we can start to address it and address the people who are responsible. What we are supposed to do is have some type of knee-jerk reaction where blacks will start fighting whites and whites will start fighting blacks. That's what they want. That's what the Jew wants, because the Jew likes, in conflicts like this, likes to remain invisible. And if he continues to remain invisible, we will not be able to solve this problem. We have to understand who is responsible. Now, to do what we did just a few days ago, it's on my YouTube channel, is two white guys from South Bend, I was one of them, and two black guys sat down and said, let's see if we can get to the heart of this problem. And I think we did. I think it's possible. I think it's possible for black people and white people to get together and say, this is really what's happening. We thwarted this. This is part of what we said. We thwarted this in South Bend when we basically got rid of the mercenary that this Jewish guy imposed on us as our police chief. He got to be such a liability that Mayor Pete had to get rid of him. Okay, that's the type. Everything begins with consciousness. You can't act unless you know, and you have to know what's going on before you can decide what are we going to do.
Now, what do you say to the people who say, well, there's just long-term racial animosity in this country due to just how blacks were transported here, kept as slaves, and that there's no real answer as far as living together goes? I'm not saying I agree with that, by the way. I'm just saying that there are people who have said that on this program even. What do you say to that?
I say it's not true. I say I live in a place where people do get along. There were no riots in South Bend. There were demonstrations. There was Black Lives Matter here, and they simply did not reach critical mass. In order to do what happened in Chicago, you have to reach critical mass, which means you have to have a large group of people really riled up by the time it gets dark. And that's when the rioting and that's when the looting starts. And there are people who tried it here and it didn't work. So I'm saying it's possible to live together with people. I reject all forms of racism. I was supposed to debate Jared Taylor in Zagreb about race. And what I'm saying here is that we have categories, okay, that are imposed on realities for political effects. That's what's going on here. So basically, okay, you look black. That must mean that you're a looter. Well, no, I don't think so. Oh, you look white, so therefore that means you must be a racist cop. Well, no. I'm saying all of these are false identities that get imposed on people with political purposes in mind. And the media, owned by the Jews, run in their interest, has an interest in fomenting racial conflict, and they've had it for years. Because one of the fundamental principles of the Roman Empire was divide et impera, divide and rule, or we say divide and conquer. That's part of what's going on here. The oligarchs need this. Okay, they need racial conflict because if they have racial conflict, nobody's pointing the finger at them. This is classic. The classic example of this was just recently. We had the COVID pandemic. Now you can say what
COVID?
you want about rioting.
COVID?
You can say what you want about rioting, but it turns out it was the cure for the COVID virus. Because nobody's worried about COVID viruses anymore because you don't have to do social distancing. You can have a mob marching across Brooklyn Bridge and those folks were not 6 feet apart, okay? But what you have here is this kind of rule by crisis. You know, you've got crisis after crisis. Every time there's a crisis, you need an oligarch to solve your problem. So thank God for Bill Gates. Because he's going to create a vaccine that's going to save us all, and that will bring us back to normal. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's not what's going on here. Thank God for whatever. And racial conflict is one of those things that guarantees the legitimacy of the federal government, and they all again harken back to the civil rights movement as the great American success story. That's not what's going on here. Okay. It's always been a revolutionary movement. It was certainly a revolutionary movement in the South. And that's what it is now. And the revolutionaries are allied with the oligarchs. Isn't that obvious by now? That has always been the case. Whenever you've got a Trotsky, there's always a Jacob Schiff behind him. Jacob Schiff is the man that gave Trotsky, $14 million in gold to pull off the Russian Revolution because Jews hated Russia because of the pogroms, because of the Tsar. That's always the story. That is the story now. No. As soon as you have it, racial conflict, all of these people become invisible. And not only do they become invisible, they become indispensable in helping us solve this problem. That's not what we need now.
All right, let's keep going. Just a white guy says, EMJ, was Jesus really Jewish? He said in the super chat. I don't know if you want to answer that. Keeper says, great guess. Which of his books should I buy first? He said.
For the Black Jewish Alliance, it's the Jewish Revolutionary Spirit. You cannot understand what's going on unless you understand the Jewish Revolutionary Spirit. If you want to talk, the most recent book is Logos Rising, A History of Ultimate Reality. If you want to know the background of what happened in Chicago, why those people, all those Black people were brought up from Mississippi and what role they played in Chicago, then I recommend a book I wrote called Slaughter of Cities, Urban Renewal as Ethnic Cleansing. That is the story of how the Blacks became the oligarchs' proxy warriors. I could say the Jews were involved, but at that point there was a WASP Jewish alliance. It wasn't just the Jews, it was the WASP Jewish alliance against the Catholics in places like Chicago. That tells that story. And if you want to talk about the Negro as a paradigm of sexual liberation, that's in my book, Libido Dominandi, Sexual Liberation and Political Control. So you can start, it depends on where you want to enter the story. Also, if you want to hear the oligarchs' interest, the oligarchs, the Jewish oligarchs as the twin of the Jewish revolutionary, then read Baron Metal, which is a history of capitalism as the conflict between labor and usury.
Very good. KP77 says, what's the actual way to win this fight, Dr. Jones? I think you kind of talked about that in an answer a couple minutes ago, but if you want to address that again, you can. Pyrus
Well,
7.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
we are in the point where we have to fight now to be able to say what we need to say. That was the battle last year. That was the battle over the internet. There are people out there who want to silence this discussion, the discussion that's going on right now, for obvious reasons. So the first step is we have to preserve the right to say these things. We have to be truthful in our discussion, and we have to be true to logos, which is rationality, but it's also speech. And that's why I did that. I think that the four of us in South Bend, 2 black and 2 white, can come together, have an intelligent discussion, and come to understand the source of the problem. I think we're capable of doing that.
All right, let's see. Ninja Guinea from Pyrus777, thank you very kindly for that. Daredevil's Advocate says, can the blacks be redirected? I guess he says to the J. I also see something else breaking in the chat. Let me see what that is. Oh yeah, that's the same thing about the Cops being canceled. The TV show Cops being canceled right before we came on the air. Eddie Rob 12 says, protocols. I'm not going to read that one out loud, but thank you. Sigma Zero says, the Jays disown Christ. Their trash equals our treasure. Let me see here. Look at stream elements. Make sure I'm caught up there. We're also live on entropystream.live/the Ralph Retort. Okay, let's take a caller. Walrus Aurelius, you're on the kill stream. Go ahead.
Hey there, Ralph. Hey, Gator. Hey, hello to you, Dr. Jones. It's wonderful to hear a such a powerful Christian voice here on the Ralph Retort. But I just had a quick question here because I've recently been reading a book by a man named Christopher Caldwell about I believe it's just titled The Age of Enlightenment, America Since the 60s. It came out a little bit earlier this year. In that book, he talks a lot about the idea that effectively with the passing of the Civil Rights Act and a lot of legal rulings that came from it, that America effectively has 2 constitutions now, the actual formal constitution and then the constitution as interpreted through the Civil Rights Act, and these act in conflict with each other. So my question for you is, I heard you mention a couple of times here the idea that that civil rights has become like the secular religion of America, particularly of the elite and of the left wing. Do you believe that's connected to how the Civil Rights Act is interpreted legally and how it has warped the ways that the Constitution functions now?
Yes.
From like a legal and societal perspective?
Yes, I think that's right. First of all, the Brown versus School Board was 1954. The other decision in 1954 that no one talks about is Berman versus Parker, and that was the decision for enabling or permitting urban renewal. There was a Mr. Berman who owned a clothing store, and they were tearing down the neighborhood and going to rebuild it. And he said, great, I'd like to be there and sell them clothes. And they say, no, we're going to tear down your store too. Well, there's nothing wrong with my store. We know there's nothing wrong, but we're going to tear it down anyway. Now, this is called what both Brown versus School Board and Berman versus Parker have in common is both are forms of social engineering. This is the introduction of social engineering as the de facto hidden grammar, deep grammar of the United States of America. That means unappointed experts can tell you what your school is going to be like, where you can live, and so on and so forth. The man who broached this idea was the Swedish socialist by the name of Gunnar Myrdal in the book The American Dilemma, which is supposedly about race, but he mentions social engineering repeatedly in that time. Social engineering is completely incompatible with the Constitution of the United States of America, because that Constitution vests power in the people. and the people through elect representatives to government. And these are the people that organize society according to the will of the people. These two principles, social engineering and representative government, are in a complete contradictory relationship to each other. There's no way to reconcile them. And what you're seeing here is a battle between these two groups, leading all the way up to the present. I've already mentioned the Religious Freedom Restoration Act in Indiana. That was a classic example of what I'm talking about. And also the election of Donald Trump was an expression of this. The people, I was there when Donald Trump came to South Bend in Indiana, biggest crowd in South Bend history. And the people realized that we had two parties that represented the oligarchs and no party that represented the people of Indiana. And so they voted for Donald Trump. This has been from the beginning. Okay. You could go back and say, okay, even before social engineering, at the very beginning of this country, there was a conflict over money between creditors and debtors. There are always more debtors than there are creditors. Okay, the debtors want paper money. The creditors want gold. They want easy credit. They want tight credit. Pay off your debts. This has been throughout American history, and we're seeing it right now. Who elected Black Lives Matter? Who elected these people? Who gave them the right to change our form of government? Who gave them the right to abolish the police force in Minneapolis? Well, no one. They arrogated it to themselves, and they were able to do this because they are proxy warriors of the oligarchs, and they are representing oligarchic interests.
Thank you, caller. Let's see here. Do you have anything else real quick, Walrus?
I just wanted to say to Mr. E. Michael Jones, I'm a fan and a listener of a show called The Godcast that you've been on a few times. I appreciate you being on. Those guys are good friends of mine. And I hope you and Ralph and Gator all go with God and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. That's very kind of you. Appreciate that. Very kind. Let's take another caller. Fish and Soil, you're on the Killstream. Go ahead with Dr. E. Michael Jones.
Thank you for being on the show tonight, Dr. Jones. Given that the civil rights situation seems to be a religion and that identity politics has kind of taken over our political discourse, do you think white Christians need to differentiate themselves from Jewish people, given that Jews seem to hold both a majority and minority position in our political discourse by being both white and an oppressed minority at the same time?
This is a very interesting question. If I can back it up a little bit, Christians and Jews are opposed by the very fact that they are Christians and Jews. All you have to do is read the gospel or you read the Acts of the Apostles, and you see that there is total conflict between the Jews and the Christians. And on top of that, the term Jew takes on a new meaning in the Gospel of St. John. It basically means a rejecter of Christ. Okay? So what do you mean by white? What do you mean by white Christian? This is what you're really saying here. There are two competing identities. White is a competing identity. It is an identity that is based on a biological determinism. It really doesn't have any relevance to Christianity. Okay. Now, what you see here is a group of people who want the Jew to become white. Why is it good when the Jew becomes white? Well, the Jew becomes invisible. And once the Jew becomes invisible, then you can't see him as the source of the problem. So if the Jews are white, then what are we? It's a racial conflict. And if it's a racial conflict, they win. It's that simple. So I'm saying that you have a completely different category here. The term Jew, as I define it in the Jewish revolutionary spirit, is a theological category. Jewish identity is not based on DNA. The Jews claimed that when they talked to Jesus Christ. They said they were the seed of Abraham, and he just kind of laughed at them. Said, no, that's not true. Their identity is rejection of Logos. And Jesus Christ was the Logos incarnate. And so you have passages in the Gospel of St. John, like the story of the man born blind. The parents of the man born blind refused to speak out of fear of the Jews, because the Jews threatened to expel from the synagogue anyone who accepted Jesus Christ as the Messiah. Well, everybody in the story is a Jew if you're talking about biology, DNA, but it's obvious from this gospel passage that the term Jew has a new meaning now, and it means rejection of Logos, rejection of Christ. And I think this is the meaning we have to bring back, because, as I said, as soon as the Jew becomes white, he becomes invisible. And as soon as he becomes invisible, then we end up shadowboxing, and we can't understand what is really going on, as I tried to explicate from the beginning of what happened in Minneapolis. Explicate that picture in front of us.
Novek over on entropystream.live/the Ralph Retort says, y'all should do the fight in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Everything is cheap down here, and you can have a live panel with Boogie and Ramsey Paul. Yes, it is pretty cheap there in Fayetteville. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Sigma Zeros says, wait, I read that one. Lord Zenu WT Law says, anyone anywhere else but Amazon to order your books, Dr. Jones?
Yes, go to culturewars.com. Culturewars.com. The Logos Rising is not available on Amazon. The other books are, but Logos Rising, you have to buy it from culturewars.com.
Now, was there a reason given for that, or?
We were overwhelmed by the demand for Logos Rising. And we wanted to give our people the first crack at buying the book, because people had signed up before in advance, and we wanted to fulfill those orders first. The second problem is that Amazon gives you a very limited amount of time to fulfill your order. And if you don't, then they refund full money, and you lose out. The supplier loses out. And so that's, and we were also, there was also a unique situation with the mail. The COVID pandemic basically shut down the mail in country after country. All Europe was shut down. So our books, the Logos books, all these books, people ordered a lot of books from culturewars.com. They all got to Chicago, and then they sat there because the countries weren't sending their planes to pick up the mail. So at that point, the people in Chicago, the post office put it on a ship, and that ship is supposed to arrive in Rotterdam on June 15th. Now, I'm glad people are patient. Some people are not so patient. But if we were on Amazon, all those people could, demand their money back, and we would be out a book, postage, and all this other type of stuff. So maybe it will be eventually, but we couldn't afford to do that given the demand for this book.
Let's see. Christopher Waffen says, EMJ's opinion on disparity in crime rates by race. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yes. I mean, again, the South Side of Chicago is a good example. It's a very dangerous place. If these people were really interested in Black Lives Matter, they do something about the South Side of Chicago, where blacks get killed on a regular basis. 700 a year is kind of like the average on the South Side of Chicago. It's probably going to be higher this year. Okay, you can't separate race from environment here. That's the whole problem. The whole problem here is you're attributing to race something that comes from the environment. You have a culture. I mean, it's not a coincidence that I call the magazine Culture Wars, because culture is very important. So, I mean, just to give you one example, that I knew a heroic Black lady there, social worker. One of her clients came. She was going to have an abortion. This lady talked her out of it, and she said, I'll adopt your children. So the lady had twins, and she adopted them. That was a heroic act, a great act of charity. unfortunately, she was up against a culture that just, was toxic. And so the girl succumbed to toxic culture and ended up, having illegitimate children, as a teenager, all of that type of pathology, in spite of the fact that her adopted mother was serious Christian and tried to raise her otherwise. So it's difficult to fight that type of culture. And the culture is, in many ways, Southside Chicago is monoracial, and so you tend to attribute it to race more than culture.
Marshall Forward with the Ninjagini, very kind of you. He says, he was a Lutheran, but in your opinion, did Otto von Bismarck serve law and order?
Germany did not have a law and order problem. They were the most disciplined group of people on the European subcontinent. So I'm not exactly sure what the question means. Bismarck united Germany. The Prussians did it pretty much by conquest, and they imposed Prussian Enlightenment Protestant Lutheranism on the Catholics. It created a battle called the Kulturkampf. But I don't see that law and order was a big issue in any of those events.
Okay, let's take a couple more calls. We got about 10 minutes with the doctor here. Let's see. Cooper, you're on the Killstream. Go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good. Go ahead.
So what do you think about Jews in the science community? Because, Einstein was a Jew, and there was a bunch of people who went against Einstein, and everyone was labeled anti-Semite, and it's a lot of things that Einstein has written on, we take for law. And even though about things in space, even though he wasn't there, and I just wanted to hear your take.
Yeah, there's a whole chapter in Logos Rising on Werner Heisenberg, who was a physicist or a contemporary of Einstein's. And Heisenberg got the Nobel Prize for quantum mechanics in 1931. And at this point, Hitler was right about to take power. He took power 2 years later. And at this point, there was a whole group of people who were believed in German physics as opposed to Jewish physics. And it got completely politicized. Okay. And Heisenberg sided with the Jews. He sided with Niels Bohr, who was a Jew, and with Einstein, defended Einstein. And as a result, he was attacked by the SS. Himmler, the SS magazine attacked Heisenberg, called him a white Jew. And Heisenberg went to his mother. What else are you going to do? You complain to your mother. And it turns out that his mother knew Himmler's mother. And so Frau Heisenberg talked to Frau Himmler, and they patched it up, and everything was fine. But it doesn't change the fact that Einstein was sort of driven out of, all the Jews were driven out of physics in Germany for ideological reasons. Now, we all know that if the Nazis don't like you, you must be a good person. If the Nazis don't like you, then what you're saying must be true. And that's pretty much what happened to Einstein. Einstein became the paradigm of Jewish science. He became a hero. He was brought over to America. And he became, like Sigmund Freud, the paradigm of the Jewish intellectual. They wanted to make him president of Israel, and so on and so forth. That doesn't mean that that relativity is true. It doesn't resolve the contradictions between special relativity and general relativity. It just postponed it and turned it into an ideological battle, and basically made, if you questioned that, you would be called an anti-Semite. So it postponed a discussion that probably should have taken place, but didn't. It also postponed the whole discussion of whether of geocentrism as opposed to heliocentrism. It postponed, it basically negated the results of the Michelson-Morley experiments. It became simply an act of faith. You had to defend the fact that the Earth was moving, even though the Michelson-Morley experiments showed no evidence of that. It just postponed a lot of stuff, and it basically introduced an ideological element into science where it's not appropriate.
All right, a couple more callers. Mountain Walk, go ahead. You're on with Dr. E. Michael Jones.
Hey, Dr. Jones. I haven't listened to you much before, and I just got here like 5-10 minutes ago. So I hope this hasn't already been asked. But I was curious. Looking around the world, we see like basically developed nations, Western Europe, United States, and then also Japan and South Korea. We see that even though these are like our advanced, like industrialized nations, that there are some things like suicide rates and levels of unhappiness, like personal or between the sexes and things like that. Those rates are all very high, especially like in Japan and South Korea for like suicide and things like that. That's pretty famous for. What do you think is the problem? Is it like the style of government? Is it like a lack of religion, or what? Because I mean, obviously in Japan and South Korea, it's not like, oh, they have these multi-ethnic countries. I mean, that's not really an issue, but we do see these same sort of things popping up in different places all over the world. Is this just like as part of the cycle of civilizations of rising and falling, or what do you think?
What I think, I deal with this in Logos Rising, because over the period of beginning with the 17th century, science became a substitute for Logos. Science is a small part of Logos, and some science is not even science. So even, I'm talking about legitimate science, is a small part of Logos, and the scientific revolution was based on balls whizzing around in space, or balls bumping into each other. And those balls that bumped into each other were called atoms. And so what you had was a primitive materialistic ideology that got imposed on everyone as ultimate reality in the name of science. And that just led to the eclipse of Logos, which is a much broader picture, which includes God by definition. Okay. So you have a group of people that become very adept at scientific manipulation, but there's no big picture. Or that would be like Japan. Korea is different because Korea, there are lots of Christians in Korea. And so they're able to cope with it better than the Japanese, who have always excluded Christianity from the time of the Jesuits. Okay. This, I've observed it in Iran. When I went to Iran, you have a situation there where you have either Islam, fundamentalist Islam, or you have science. So you have these young ladies, they're all in charters because they live in the Islamic Republic, and they're all nuclear physicists, and somehow there's something missing. And so one of the talks I gave was on sex, and this lady came up to me and she said, you know, nobody's ever talked about this before. Well, sex is a part of, there's a logos to sex. They don't know what it is. You can get a one-day marriage in Guam, which shows they don't understand sexuality. And so they can't, so people become discouraged because they can't believe that life is just little balls bumping into each other. It seems to be more than that. And they can't come up with an explanation of why they're unhappy either. They just don't know. And so the net result in Iran and Japan, actually, for different reasons, is people stop having children. This is because they don't see any purpose to life, and they don't see any purpose to life because science can't give it to you. And if science is the ultimate reality, well, there is no purpose. And if there's no purpose, you will be unhappy and you will go out of existence.
All right, last caller, Spurgberg, you're on the Killstream. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? So I've got a question. This year, I believe, seems to be the greatest year of absolute world-changing happenings and catastrophes, just all colliding together as a big result of everything we've seen build up so far. And I feel like a lot of the things that were prophesized in the book of Revelations are starting to become like reality. So I'm wondering, like, if we follow that prophecy, and where do you think we'll be here? We'll be in, like, I don't know, maybe 5-10 years or so, or what does the future hold for us? Basically, that's a big question. I know.
Yeah, I mean, we will be where God's plan wants us to be, because God has a plan for all of human history, and it's never changed. And the book of Revelation is some indication of how that plan is going to come to fulfillment. But other people have talked about it. St. Augustine did not base it on the book of Revelation, but he said there's the city of God and the city of man, and they will be at war with each other for as long as there are human beings. But in the end, God's plan has to win out, because God cannot be defeated. The only way human beings can thwart God's plan is by committing evil, but even there they can't thwart God's plan. They can thwart it for themselves. You may commit evil, you may lead a wicked life, and you'll die and you'll go to hell. But that's part of God's plan too, because you violated your own the free will that he gave you, and you chose to do evil. So, I mean, it's a combination of both, and it will reach fulfillment because God's plan cannot be thwarted. And the fact that God's plan cannot be thwarted doesn't mean we don't have free will, because he gave us free will as part of that plan. So I don't know where I find this consoling. I think everyone else should find it consoling too, that no matter what happens, no matter how it seems that the world is falling apart and it's the end of the world as we know it, God is always in charge. He's always in charge of human history.
A couple super chats. Eddie Strinden says Jesus wasn't Jewish, he was Samaritan. John 8:48. And no, Samaritans aren't Jewish. They were forced to convert to Judaism to become Israeli citizens, is what he said in a super chat there. Let me scroll down. I think we've asked all the questions. We got in plenty of calls. We covered plenty of topics here with Dr. E. Michael Jones. Why don't you tell them, sir, what you're working on, where they can find you, et cetera, and also thank you for coming on the Killstream this evening.
Yes, you can. All of the material that I mentioned tonight is in some form, in some book or other, and you can find all of those books at culturewars.com. If anything, if you found that I didn't fill out the story completely, it's all in written form in these books. And right now I'm working on an article on this whole riot thing and the end of the COVID pandemic, which will appear in Culture Wars magazine in the July-August issue. And you can also subscribe to that at culturewars.com.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it very much. You have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, Gator, let's switch back over to the regular Discord. Oh, man. Let's do that. Wait, hold on. Gator, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
Oh, how's it going? All right, we got the segment started right at the top of the show, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And it just now hit 11, so right on schedule.
Got him in right on schedule. Thank you, Dr. Jones. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Maximus the Merciful says, was Drake's song God's Plan talking about the Jews? I'm not sure about that. Cooper said something about that. I can't say that either, but thank you. There's also this. Let me see. He's been wanting me to play this. The producer's been wanting me to play this for a couple days. You see how this looks on screen. Okay. I think we can play this. All right, this is a couple days old now, but they've been wanting me to play it. Also, we have other topics as well, but consider this a little bit of an interlude here right now.
Like if I've got a buddy who's got a super hot wife, I feel guilty that I'm sitting there at dinner with him just thinking, my God, this woman's hotter than hell. And I feel guilty. My wife's incredibly sexy, but I mean, God made me this way. And King David was less than people's wives, but I can't help. But that's the kind of thing I have guilt about. It's like women, like and I'm not even jealous of guys that have super hot wives or whatever. I'm just kind of like, I want your wife. And I'm being honest about that. I would never want to have power over people or make them poor, so I felt big about it, or put poison in their vaccines, or enslave people. But when you study globalists, they want control over everybody. I want prosperity. I want freedom.
I just want your
justice.
wife.
And other parts of me that are sinful, and I admit are there, I've got under control. And I'm older now. I'm not like I used to be. But you know, the point is that I'm definitely a sinner, and I'll admit it. But when you study the globalists, they're so evil that those of us that aren't like that, we have a blind spot.
Bitch over here.
You better get acquainted with the devil because he's acquainted with you. I mean, you better get acquainted with Jesus because this is real, folks. And I got a big story I didn't even get to. NASA discovers parallel universe where time flows backwards. We already told you all of this.
Tom, before
That's
I fucked your
Forbes
wife,
today.
is that what you want to float back to?
This is a simulation.
damn.
It's a real simulation, but it's controlled by God. So I can rant and rave all day, and there I just told everybody what any red-blooded man knows that we love women. It's just the final equation. The church tells you all day that's sin because they know every man sitting in the pews has lusted after somebody's wife. But they don't make it about banking. Christ, money changers. They don't make it about enslaving people, keeping them dumb to control them. Christ said, suffer the little children, treat them as if they're me, because I will destroy you. That means not just children, but people that aren't as smart as you. We have to build
like other dudes' wives
when we are given more gifts than they are. Those gifts have been given to us to help others, not to be used against them. So,
all right,
that's my statement.
That's right. Those gifts were given to them, Alex, to help them. Would you help yourself? Well, wait, never mind. Welcome to the show, Andy Worski.
Hey, what's up? Awesome interview. Great guest, man.
Thank you, man. How you doing?
Excellent, fantastic.
What'd you play last night on your show?
Oh no, yeah, Bibble's not here, right?
No, he's not.
Because I have to call him out. He's like, oh, you played Layers of Fear? Yeah, that's a pretty good game. Play Visage, Visage. Visage, yeah, Visage. I have never experienced more terror in my entire life. Like 10 times scarier than that last game. So I have to play it tonight too, and I'm fucking dreading it. Like I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I
break
do
another
this?
pair of headphones?
Yeah, yo, seriously, no, man. I'm telling you, this game is fucking crazy. But yeah, man. Excellent interview, though. I really enjoyed that.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I thought the good doctor was kind to stop by. KP77 in the Lemon Chat says, what a great dude. How could you not love that guy? I like the setup, too. It was boss tonight. So shout out to Dave as well as producer. Marshall Forward says, a hot wife will commence again. If you're around Alex, apparently. He has no qualms about that whatsoever. I also heard that Cornel West was fighting on Hannity. Let me see if I can find that clip. A good Cornel West clip is not bad. Let's see here, Gator. You throw the link. Look in the show links. Also, we have YouTube. It's basically demonetized the commentary community. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, man, that's brutal.
That's pretty bad.
I actually it was really funny. Actually, before you go on, I saw Mersh was live as well, right? And I saw on Twitter, so Mersh was going off on Keem while you were doing your interview. And I see some drama happening on Twitter. And Keem was in Mersh's chat and they were battling each other. It was epic.
Oh man.
I'll let you know when we're on the topic.
Well, we could definitely have a conversation here on the Killstream if those gentlemen would like. Flamingo,
yes.
Flamingo with the host. Shout out to Flamingo. Sigma Zero says just ordered Dr. Jones's book. Very good. Also, excuse me, I got a little bit of cough. I hope it's not the Rona. I don't think it is, by the way. It's the
I hope
cigarettes.
not.
All right, now here goes American Patriot. Let's pull up this video. Let me see if I can find the timestamp. Kyler Subcultured says, oh wait, they're only banning Nazis. They won't come for us. That was him being sarcastic.
Yeah, we have a big. I have a big. Actually, I'll say it after. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go to. Let's see. Go to, is that Sean King? Holy shit. Go to, fuck. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Go to 26. Oh my God. I want to make sure we get the mayor's comments in there. Go to 2630. That's Dan Bongino, who somehow looks blacker than Sean King. Anyway, go to 2630 in that video. How the fuck does Dan Bongino look that black? Kyler Subculture then says, 4 years later, oh my God, they're deplatforming us. All right, let's take a look at Dan Black Gino, apparently. 2630. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's hit it right now.
Trump, I'm sorry. There was no racial divide on this at all. None. White,
Universal.
black, Asian, Hispanic, everybody saw what was wrong. Why are we making this a... There was no racial divide on this at all. None.
There was no
there was
racism
no political
ever
divide either.
in America.
Stop
Come
doing
on.
that.
Have you not
Why are
watched
you dividing
Have
us?
you not watched the
Why are they dragging Geraldo out?
television
Jesus
set this
Christ.
week?
All right, come on. It's the next segment that I'm trying to get to. Come on, Hannity. Jesus
Botching the
Christ.
response to their riots, Cornell West.
Oh, fuck. Yes, Cornell West. That's what we want to hear. No, I'm not subscribing. Get that giant subscribe button out of the fucking way. The fuck? Skip to the next. Oh, they got the
It's so
commercials too.
excessive.
They got the commercials too. Fuck that. All right, go to. Oh, fuck. You know what? Go to. We're never watching those, of course. Wow, they just straight ripped this. Of course, this is fair use. We're commenting on the news here, unlike these jokers. All right, let's see. Go to 31 minutes even. How about that?
Yep, that seems about right.
31 minutes even. Now, let's hit it right now.
Experiencing even more chaos and crime and carnage in their streets. Just listen to these chilling remarks, a recent conference call obtained by WTW News from a Chicago alderman and Lori Lightfoot's shocking response.
Yeah, fuck
Take a
off.
listen.
We're not subscribing.
We can't expect our police, and I don't fault them at all, to be able to control this. But I know that we asked our faith base yesterday to stand as the front line between police and looters and rioters. And I'm simply not comfortable telling my churches, those people, to be the intermediary in the middle of a riot. Half our neighborhoods are already obliterated. It's too late. What happens when they start going after residents, going into the neighborhoods? Once they start trying to break down people's doors. Next question. Well, no, I want an answer. You commented on everybody. I want an answer. It's not something you ignore.
Talking to the mayor, by the way.
This is
Chicago.
a question that I have.
I think you're 100% full of what I think.
Wow.
All right, joining us now with reaction, we have civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, along with the co-host of the Tightrope podcast, professor at the ever-prestigious Harvard
Cornell West
University,
on
Dr.
the Kill
Cornell
Stream,
West.
Gator.
Dr. West,
Oh, that would be
749
awesome.
cops,
Cornell
rocks,
West
bricks,
on the Kill
Molotov
Stream.
cocktails, 22 cops in D.C. hospitalized for concussions. We saw a 38-year police veteran murdered in St. Louis. We have a cop in Vegas shot in the head. 749. Do you support this madness of defunding the police?
Well, let me first say it's just good to be in dialogue with you. God bless your loved ones. And as you know, we just buried old brother George.
We've all there's universal professor. There's universal.
Yeah, we know.
We got to keep this. This day has been a very, very heavy day for many of us, my brother. So in talking about
universal agreement,
let's try to be clear about this now. We must have respect, and there must be ability to protect. You have to have police who respect the community. There has to be some community control, accountability of both citizens and police, and recognizing that the deeper issues of poverty, dilapidated schools, housing, shattered family, communities, not enough jobs with a living wage, that generates a despair.
Professor, let me ask you. Serious question.
But there has to be democratic control over the police, though,
Professor, I need to ask you. Every liberal big city, Chicago, run decades by Democrats. They've allowed the violence, and they have failed our American children with the most horrific schools in the country.
Goes to the police. They don't have enough housing. They don't have enough education, and they certainly don't have enough jobs with a living wage. That's under Rahm Emanuel. Now, I'm no fan of Rahm Emanuel, but I'm certainly no supporter, as you know, of you and your good friend, Brother Trump himself.
Why didn't Rahm Emanuel? Why did he not fix the violence?
But I'm going at you in the name of truth.
Okay, Leo, why didn't he
nail.
fix the violence? Why haven't they fixed our broken school systems? We have failed America's
This
children.
other guy looks like Joe Frazier's
You know, Sean, you asked
uncle.
Dr. Cornel West the type of question you asked in a court of law. He won't answer them because he's just giving you old talking points. I'll speak to you, Dr. Cornel West, black man to black man. There's looting going on, and you try to confuse. No, it's my turn. It's my turn. You try to conflate.
Shut the fuck up for the
protesting
left.
and police misconduct. And
Internet
shame on
black
you.
sports, here we
And you're
go.
absolutely wrong. You won't address the
shit.
issue. You will refuse to address the issue because I'm talking to you. You're not my brother. You're not my brother. You are hurting black people by acting this position. You are taking the wrong position. No, my brother. That stuff plays out. That plays out. Address the question. Do you? Oh my gosh! You have lost control. You're a dinosaur. You're a outright dinosaur. You have lost it, sir. I'm not part of your group. I'm not part of your group. You have lost it. You are a dinosaur. And you know what? He's funding the police. You are wrong. You are wrong, my friend. No, I don't think so. Because your position is so way off. I will not respect it.
You come out of the block disrespecting people. You disrespect me the day that Brother Floyd is put in the grave. Who do you think you are?
Not the day Floyd was buried.
Come on, me. You're my brother. Keep saying that. It's all talking points.
You do this on the day of Floyd's funeral. Come on.
Guys, all right, Leo, give me a second. Guys, all right, everybody's mic'd out. Hang on. Guys, one at a time. Cornel West, then we'll go to Leo. Cornel, you're up.
Not on this day. Not when Floyd Jr. put in the grave.
Not when Floyd's in the ground. Not on this day. Come on.
You know what? You asked him a very simple question. He
this
won't
day?
say he's against defunding the police because you know what? He's in favor of defunding the police. I'm opposed to it. And this man is a dinosaur. We have to protect our community, our black community. And you know why Professor West and I are on this program? Because we have education. We have to improve
Leo,
education.
let me go back to Professor West. Professor, go ahead. Professor.
You're a
Don't
dinosaur.
put words in my mouth. Sean, what you
You're a
have
black
people
dude
on
at a
this show
movie
that can't respect the people who come on?
Oh my gosh, you're giving talking points. There's no respect there because you are just giving talking
Sean,
points.
I ain't got no talking points. Sean knows I'm as critical of the Democratic Party, oftentimes the Republican Party. I don't talk
Answer his
talking
question.
points at all.
Let me ask. Let me jump in.
You're on the
Let
fringe.
me, guys.
You're
Let
on
me
the
ask.
fringe.
Let me ask Cornell. You
Sean Kennedy's
agree
having
with
to pull a Ralph.
Cornel West? Cornel West, I want to ask you a question.
That's right. Talk about truth and justice.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, so
You've never been in the courtroom. You're not a lawyer. You're not a civil rights lawyer. I'll match my credentials against you any day.
We ain't talking about credentials.
Cut him off.
We ain't talking about credentials.
No,
Cut him off. Respect.
You get no respect from me. You get no respect from me. Cut him off.
Don't put words in my mouth and don't come out here disrespecting me on the day that Floyd is shedding tears.
all right.
Talking points.
I gotta let it go. Thank you both.
Damn, never even been in the courtroom.
He's like, yeah, I know, guys.
No courtroom Cornell. Is that what they're gonna start calling him? Oh man, that was tough. Okay. Do we have other callers? Let's see. The caller room's completely dead.
That was brutal,
That was
dude.
brutal.
That guy on the left, I want to fucking tell him to shut the fuck up. Holy fucking Christ.
That's Cornel West. Also, I see this keeps getting spammed in chat. What is this they want me to play? Antifa leaders being scoped by feds now. I don't know what this is, and I've watched it, and I still don't really know, but a lot of people keep wanting me to play it, so I guess I'll play it. How about that? Here's the link. Exactly. Worski knows how it goes. Yep, let's just play it. All right, let's hit it right now.
We watched her. Put her hand up. We watched her. She put her hand up. Right here. She's gonna come with us. Don't hurt her. No, don't hurt her. Hey, don't get hurt. Okay, wait. Yo, what the
Being scooped by feds. Okay.
This is an unknown car. Who is this?
Oh, they got abducted?
What?
What is happening?
Whoa.
Oh, this is
Where are you taking her?
I know what this
Where?
is.
You have to tell us where you're taking her.
Where are you going?
She gets picked up by feds that aren't wearing name tags or identification.
Wow.
Damn.
Let's fucking go.
Wow. Just picking them up off the street corner.
You see that one guy's like, yo, come
Don't
near me
follow.
and I shoot you. He didn't give a fuck. Film me all you want, you cunt. Wow.
Oh, man. Oh, no. Is that true? HBO Max. Oh, no. This can't be true. Oh, this is tragic. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm on the right. Oh, man. Hold on. Let's pull this up. This one sucks. HBO Max removed Gone with the Wind from its platform amid growing concerns about racial injustice in the wake of the killing of George Floyd. Gone with the Wind, one of the classics.
Cops.
One of the all-time classics of cinema. Removed from HBO's new streaming service.
Bro,
That's literally the most retarded thing
Gone
I've ever seen.
with the Wind.
Yo, okay, I said this yesterday on my show last night, right? This is kind of maybe a slightly edgy take. I'll try my best to keep it as
Ruh-roh.
I'm gonna keep it as clean and TOS friendly as possible. And I say this as someone who's not racist, okay?
Uh-oh.
I've had enough of black people bitching. I've had enough, right? When someone goes, you're being racist, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I've had enough of this. Oh, black people, I give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Cry all you want. Do whatever you want. I don't care about black people. I don't care about Chinese people. I don't care about Indian. I don't care about white people. I care about my friends and me. I've had enough of black people. Black people are dying on the streets from... I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if the cops are doing it unjustly anymore. I don't give a fuck anymore. I've had enough of hearing Black Lives Matter or black anything. Eat a dick. If you don't like me because I'm a white guy, suck my dick. I don't give a fuck. I've had enough. They removed live PD instead of them arrest. Oh, why? Because they're arresting 90% of the fucking stars on the show are black people being arrested. Now it's live PD is fucking is the fucking emergency people. And I say this as a man who is not racist. But whenever I hear a black guy go, but what about our... I don't care. I don't give a fuck if life is tough and rough and everything sucks for you. I grew up fucking stuttering. People think I was retarded and shit. People make fun of me all the time. You don't hear me fucking cry like a little fucking F slur. You fucking pussy ass bitches. Shut the fuck up. No one cares that you're black. No one cares that you're black. You've made more racist people in the past 2 weeks. There are open, like, friends of mine who are liberal, who are like, I've had enough of black people. And I'm like, you know what? Me fucking too. Before, police should stop going after, and yeah, I understand the struggle. You burn shit down. You're now in Toronto. They want to remove the Winston Churchill fucking statue. Winston Churchill, you know what he did? He fought and defeated, for the UK, defeated the Nazis. And now they're gonna fucking take the statue down in Toronto because some fucking Indian fucking Muhammad looking fucking piece of shit is out there with a megaphone. I will piss on him.
No.
I will piss on all this shit.
No.
I swear to fucking God.
Oh my
God.
No, do not piss on him.
No, like, I mean figuratively, like,
right. You mean you piss on him with your words.
$2
and I say this with all due respect to other races. I don't give a fuck if you're Asian, Indian, black, fucking Mexican. You could all suck my dick. Every race, including white.
Every single race. We hate everybody on the Killstream.
Yes. I'm racist to everyone.
No, I'm not gonna say that. Never mind.
If you're not me or my friends, you could suck it. I had like an hour rant like this yesterday. I just had a mental breakdown yesterday on my show.
Oh, you couldn't hear it, but I had a little background music there for you.
Oh, you did?
May have been a certain theme from a certain movie there at a certain point.
Oh no! I say this like honestly, and the reason I'm saying this now is we went through so fucking much the past 2 weeks, and the thing that made me snap, especially this morning, was there was a tweet. I forgot who it was by, but it was a picture of whatever statue, memorial in Washington or whatever. And there's like, 10 black dudes who spray painted and they're all on top and they have flags. They have African flags and blah, 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 and all this. And then the tweet just said, it's either we sit here, bend over and let them take over, or we fight back. And people in the comments of that tweet were just like, we've already lost. And that's fucking pathetic. That an entire nation, that you have these fucking historical figures who created America and Canada, right? The West, basically, who like, while, like obviously slavery was terrible and all that stuff, of course, but we learn as our nations grow, right? Never forget the past or we are doomed to repeat it, right? They want to erase the past like it never happened, but the future literally looks like this cyberpunk Mad Max-ish type world. And there are now people washing Black Lives Matter organizers' feet in buckets. And I want to like the thoughts that go through my head. And that's why next year I'm moving to an island in Portugal and I'm fucking off because the West and all this is making me sick
Also,
and disgusted.
Gone with the Wind, the first African American nominated and to win, Hattie McDaniel, an Academy Award. Now I know some blacks, I guess, deride that performance, but it was actually really good. The first black performer to win an Academy Award was in Gone with the Wind. So
really,
yes.
You see, and it's like, if it wasn't created by blacks, if it's not like endorsed by every black person, if it's not, it's literally, I'm going to say this now, this is obviously a more extreme metaphor, but it's like the blacks are making white people slaves now, are making the nation, like the whole nation, a slave. The media is a slave to black people. Comics, movies, TV shows, now the people. Now you're like I swear to God, there's gonna be a certain point where you're gonna see a fucking old little white lady in line at a Whole Foods. She's gonna look behind her, and there's gonna be a black lady in line behind her, and she's gonna go, "You go ahead because you're gonna have to, or else you're a racist."
You're gonna be thrown
You know
in
what?
a cage.
This is what. Oh,
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is why when someone says, "Andy, you're being racist," or whatever, I'm like, I don't care. I actually don't care. It's that old Dragon Ball Z meme where there's like Vegeta's punching at Goku and his hand says, "You're racist." And then Goku catches the hand and the hand that caught it says, "I know."
Goku, you're a racist. I know.
All right,
I think we're lucky though, eh? By the way, us three
So
here,
far.
and people who are in our circle. No, you want to know why we're lucky? Is if we've already, for the past 2-3 years, we've been called Nazi, we've been called racist, we've been called everything under the fucking sun, and we're used to it. We're like, we're like thick-skinned and abused because we've been so abused with this that now we hear,
So
like
maligned.
you laugh.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
alt-right fucking Killstream. You like laughed at that. Back in the day, we'd be like, it's not an alt-right. Now it's like, whatever, think whatever you want, suck a dick. So I think we're lucky, but not everyone else. Everyone has to now go through what we went through. Anyway, that's my
I
rant.
agree with that. We talked about that as well. Hattie McDaniel, off air, but that's exactly correct. Hattie McDaniel, Gone with the Wind, first African American to win and be nominated for an Academy Award. It's too bad though. I guess you can't watch that anymore. That is, oh man, they're really moving at a rapid pace. I knew that would you know, obviously that's one of their targets, cultural. I talked about this in a tweet the other day on the show. It's not just about Confederate statues. It's about the history of the country. It's about the foundational cultural touchstones of the country. It's about rebuilding those in a socialist type, progressive, anti-white narrative. I mean, you don't have to be, you know, some wild extremist to see that. That's exactly what's happening. Like, I mean,
well, yeah, because in order to rebuild the country and their image, they have to tear down everything that it was. That's their entire goal. And anybody that doesn't see that's just blatantly retarded.
Yeah, you don't have to be, you know, far, whatever, however you want to classify it. You don't have to be far out there to see that. They're doing that, and they're moving very quickly. If they're moving on Gone with the Wind that quickly, okay, shit has stepped up.
Well, it's because the paradigm shifted when Trump became president. They completely and absolutely thought that Hillary Clinton was going to be the next president. And it was just a foregone conclusion. Oh, Trump's a joke. We propped him up. We put him up there so that he could get destroyed because he's a joke. And then it turns out that the only person that was laughing was Trump.
Yeah. I don't know. Go ahead.
Kind of became a bit of a disappointment.
You said you wanted to say something. I don't know. It's astonishing how quickly they've moved to take out Gone with the Wind. And again, this film was made, Gone with the Wind, I think was 1939, I believe. One of the biggest years in the history of film, also 1939. So many classics that year. But it was 1939. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't have perfect racial portrayals, Gator. There is slavery depicted, etc., etc. It's talking about the Civil War, you morons. Of course, it's not going to be
Ralph,
like it's...
You don't understand. Every single movie, even movies that were made in the past, has to have the racial sensibilities and sensitivities of today, or it must be banned forever.
I'm so tired of this shit. But we're just getting our first taste. Go ahead.
This is why we need to invest in helicopter stock.
Yeah, seriously. No, and also what you were saying, Ralph, about how, you know, this is like, you know, about the history of America, right? So what do blacks want us to do? Do they want us to erase that fucking slavery ever existed? Now all the future is going to be looking at black people as is the people who were burning down buildings and this and that, not the people who were oppressed. So I want to see you cry oppression when you take over America, which you basically with taking over the media and taking over like white guilt, basically, you have. It's sad to say, like, where are we gonna, like, you know, it's fucking sickening. I'm sorry, I'm just sick and tired of this bullshit.
Based Nibba over in the Lino chat says, when you have no argument, talking about Cornel West. Umpfluff says, Based Andy is back, let's go. Kyler Subcultured says, go off, King, this is King shit. Maximus the Merciful says, Andy's right, Cops is canceled because stars are striking. KP77 says, you really leaving Canada and Canada, Andy? I'm thinking the same thing. He was asking me there. I think you did talk about that, yeah. Keeper says, I want to love the USA as much as Bruce did. And then there's also, let's see. Let me check. Oh, Mr. Deadman over in the entropystream.live/the Ralph Retort chat says, egalitarian racism. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, or some kind of Chinese. Fuck you. You can suck my dick. Side note, why the fuck are they going after Gone with the Wind? Frankly, they shouldn't give a damn. Gone with the Wind, excellent movie, by the way. Obviously, one of the ones you just have to see. Might not get to see it for much longer, though. So probably check that out fairly soon.
Solarmovie.to.
Oh, exactly. Let's take some callers. Stacy Marchery, you're on the Killstream. Go ahead.
Hey guys, what's up?
Oh, nothing much. Just talking about erasing Gone with the Wind from history.
Yeah, that's just the straw that broke the camel. Actually, the Women's March, because, like, you know, he rapes her. You know, when he carries up the stairs and he's like, I had enough of this shit, I'm hitting it.
Oh, yeah, when she's, like, you know, doing her fist against him or
Yeah,
whatever.
so
She was
tried to
clearly didn't
cancel-
want to, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, please stop, or I'll say stop again.
Yeah.
Anyway, So the first thing, I don't know if you did this on purpose. From Michael Michael Jones to Alex Jones. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I didn't actually. We definitely
right,
caught up with the
listen.
Joneses tonight on the kill stream. Go ahead, yes.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, I don't want to overextend my stay, but I really sent you Sam's Twitter, and I think it'll cheer Andy.
All right, I'll check that over
It
on
has
Twitter.
to do with the feet washing thing. Twitter DMs. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
She just sends me more feet washing videos that make me mad.
No. It'll make you feel better.
To follow up? All right, cool.
That's it.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy.
Have a good
Appreciate it
night.
calling in. All right, have a good one. All right, let's see. I see the video now. It's some black woman telling white people to stop doing that. It looks like. Let's see. Devi, you're on the kill stream. Go ahead.
Hey guys, I've been a long time fan. First off, I just want to say thank you for turning me away from Sargon's videos, because holy shit, they're trash. And
damn.
Secondly, I'm currently doing summer classes for my university, and the professor basically just asked what our opinion was through Zoom or whatever, and about these protests and whatever. And I basically said, yeah, it's kind of shit that George Floyd kind of died, but the rioters are fucking stupid. Basically what I said. And then he said,
that's what you said. Wait, you wrote in, yeah, it's kind of shit George Floyd died, but these rioters are fucking stupid. That sounds pretty sound to me, actually, but
that's not the important part. The important part is he conflated that Antifa, BLM were basically the same thing as the civil rights movement.
yeah, that's what they're trying to do. Turn this into a modern day civil rights movement where if you didn't support this is going to be a mark against your character forever, basically. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing with this.
And I just called him out because I was like, as a mixed race person, I'm very offended by this, and I think that this take that you have on it is very reminiscent of the communist China's take on pretty much fucking anyone that disagreed with them. So, but yeah. Also, Andy, you're literally my favorite person on the stream. So.
Wait, what?
Oh, thanks, dude.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead.
Was it because my rant?
No, I just love your content, mate.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Dude, you as a mixed race person, were you offended by my rant I just did?
No, not really, because I'm German, Filipino, Japanese, so.
Yeah, but you could get my sentiment with saying that,
I mean, hey, it's all right. Everyone has their own view.
Okay, I mean, you basically called me a racist there, but I'm fine with that.
Thank you, caller. I appreciate it.
All right, you fucking racist.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tattoo I'm gonna get a swastika on my arm. No, I'm just kidding.
I would have to say that would not be a good idea.
No, it's the Hindu one. Don't worry.
You'd be like that guy who got it on his neck because he wanted to take the symbol back. It's like, yeah, but you ain't taking that one back.
Oh, that guy, yeah, but he fucked up because the Hindu one is like a curved one and has dots inside of it.
Now we have to do this story, Worski. It's Miss Hitler.
Oh my God, she's smoking hot, eh?
I don't know.
Oh wait, I should probably let's.
This is Miss.
I don't know, man.
4 British neo-Nazis have been jailed on terrorism charges. The members of National Action, a banned far-right protest group preparing for a race war, been sentenced in Birmingham Crown Court. Among those convicted, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, his former girlfriend was named Alice Cutter, who once took part in a Miss Hitler beauty pageant.
Wow.
Is her right there. Now we have to do it, chat. Smash or pass? I think we probably know the answer. Here.
You.
I think Worski's already answered. What do you?
Wait. She's in. but she's a 7.5. But next to that flag, she's a 9.
No,
You should see some of the other pictures. They're not as flattering.
Yeah, no, I saw.
Yeah, no, it's true. I know. I saw that. We were pretending like those pictures don't exist, though. I didn't want to show the other picture. Stop! You're ruining it. You're ruining it.
I know. I'm
man.
ruining the illusion. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're ruining it. Oh no. There are pictures that aren't as flattering. That's true. Now let's check out the new YouTube rule. Don't kill the
Oh,
dream.
fuck this. Fuck this.
Let's read this, Worski. Monetization and other penalties. In some rare cases, we may remove content or issue other penalties, when a creator, 1, repeatedly encourages abusive audience behavior. Wow. Repeatedly targets, insults, and abuses an identifiable individual based on their intrinsic attributes across multiple uploads. Wow, that's
Sunday Matt is a fat.
Yeah, that one. Exposes an individual to risks of physical harm based on the local, social, or political context. Or, this is a new wrinkle, creates content that harms the YouTube ecosystem by persistently inciting hostility between creators for personal financial gain.
Yeah, that's so vague, man. Like that
seems oddly. That seems oddly directed towards something that happened recently.
Seems like a Keemstar directive almost, and a bunch of other people too, right against the whole commentary community. As I mentioned,
Tipster, because he was demonetized.
Tipster as well.
And you know what's fucked up? If you think about it, Ralph, like he got what he was famous for like 3 weeks. Like he blew the fuck up, and then yoink, he just yanked it.
So are they? So, what does this even mean? Like,
it sounds like if you just make a video that can potentially change people's perspective on a person, or like basically it's don't talk shit about people or else.
Now, Keem is saying this has been there since 2019 December.
When the creator on creator harassment rules first went in.
Now that's not necessarily that comforting, since they can enforce it anytime they want. But he's saying that was already in effect. So I don't know. YouTube.
Even if it is, it still sucks.
Well, but hang on. I want to say this. Ralph, you were the first person to get fucking everything yanked from you, right? Because of the Killstream. I lost my monetization. Like a year and a half ago, 2 years. Every political person being demonetized and all that stuff, right? And every other, everyone else is like, oh, just don't do political commentary. But we said it's a slippery slope. You get rid of us, they're coming for you eventually. And then the creator on creator harassment thing came out. Personally, while I think this is shit and it's terrible and I hate censorship and yada yada yada, is anyone surprised? Like everyone's acting like, oh my god, YouTube's dead, and then we're all sitting here like, yeah, well, this is like the missiles were on the way the entire time. Like we've been warning you guys, but everyone on the commentary side on Twitter going, comedy is dead, and oh my god, look what happened. And I'm like, you knew this was gonna happen. Like YouTube's been cleaning up fucking the harassment or the toxic channels, for a while. This has
been going on. This has been going on since the adpocalypse. The N-bomb heard around the world.
It is the worst it's been, though. Yeah, someone said in chat. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you in chat. It is the worst it's ever been. But I just want to tell anyone out there, it's going to get worse. Do not be shocked when you're demonetized. I'm looking at someone like Quartering, for example. he always goes after. I hope he doesn't, obviously, but he goes after feminists and SJWs and calls
game companies that
and
do
game
the woke
companies.
bullshit.
Wait, are you trying to
Last
draw?
of
Are you
Us.
draw snitching on quartering right now?
Oh yeah, totally, 100%.
I'm just fucking
Because of his fucking stupid hat. No, I'm just saying, like, it's everyone though. This is absolutely anyone who is in his wheelhouse of content.
Well, think
You know
about
what
it
I'm
this way:
saying?
they hit all of us first, and then they hit Sargon. So they're just moving down the chain.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
true.
soon, people just making like critical video game videos where they're talking about, well, this game wasn't that good. You're going to get demonetized because you're harassing some game studio. That's how it's going to be.
Any of those people are subject to get hit for sure. Worski's right. Quartering on down. It doesn't matter. Just if they want you gone. It's so vague now. That's why they make it so vague. So
He's demonetized though, right?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Quartering talks about being demonetized on certain videos, but for people to know in the chat, Tipster is fully demonetized. Like you can't even. I can't even.
He's been
change
kicked out
my
of the partner
display picture.
He's been
They
kicked
won't
out of
let
the
me change
partner
my display
program, just like Augie got kicked out of the partner program.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's YouTube. That's the state of play over there. Let me also check. Let me see. I had some more stuff. Oh, Henrik Palmgren from Red Ice is going to be here on Thursday. Tomorrow. Who do we have tomorrow? Oh, it's the guy from Tiger Fitness.
Tiger Fitness.
Mark Lobliner. I probably fucked that up, actually. I'm not sure if I said that right, but from Tiger Fitness, Worski. I don't know if you're going to join us for that or not.
Tiger Mafia!
Yeah. No, I'm going to do the workout on camera, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that already. I forgot about that. We're going to do the workout, the Worski workout on camera with the guy from Tiger Fitness.
I have my shorts ready.
That's tomorrow night. That's on Wednesday.
Don't you do it drunk?
I mean, why not? Honestly,
I
mean,
that would
not
be
enough
pretty
to where
funny.
you'll hurt yourself, but maybe a couple.
All right, I'll do drunk workout tomorrow. There we go.
Oh god, that sounds like a terrible idea. Please don't hurt yourself, Andy.
All right, that's tomorrow on the Killstream. Henrik Palmgren from Red Ice on Thursday and Adam Green on Friday. That's the rest of the week, and we have somebody booked for Monday, but I forgot who that is.
Oh, it's Johnny Monoxide from the Paranormies.
Oh, that's right. So we're gonna talk paranormal.
Paranormies.
Shit. Yeah.
Bro.
Yes,
I love that shit.
We booked them on Monday. People have been asking for this for a long time, actually.
Dude,
and
I have two experiences. I have two experiences that made me believe, from full non-believer to like, holy shit.
We booked them on Monday. I'm glad you remember that, Gator. But yes, that was confirmed right before the show. So we're gonna do spoopy stuff on Monday. So I hope
right in mine and Bibble's and Worski's wheelhouse.
It's not really in my wheelhouse, but I love it anyway. I love listening to it. I don't really believe in it, but I still like listening to it.
You need to experience, like, if you like I've had a few experiences. Once you experience one thing, it changes your perspective on it. Oh, dude, I'm just freaked out just thinking about the past experiences I've had. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, man. I get it if you don't believe it though, right?
No,
Like it makes sense.
You told me some of these already, actually.
Yeah,
so
man.
I'm hoping you talk about some of them. I hope you talk about some of them on air. Just save them though.
Yeah. No, I will.
We're gonna talk about them on Monday. That's a little bit of a schedule update. Let me keep going through here. What else did I? We already talked about cops getting canceled. That's fucked up. There's that meme that I tweeted out that went crazy right before the show. Minneapolis cashier. This looks kind of like a fake bill. And then the dominoes fall all the way to the total destruction of the United States of America. James Woods, they made him remove a video. The video in question was the video of, you remember this, Worski and Gator, about the elderly patient getting beaten by the black guy in New York.
by that
Or,
piece
not
of
New York,
shit.
not
Yeah.
New York, Detroit. Excuse me.
You made him
Remember that?
remove it?
Yeah.
What?
Yep. They
Holy
insisted that he take it down before they would unlock his account.
Writing is on the walls.
For the
boy.
privacy of the victim. Are you fucking kidding me?
The writing is on the fucking walls, guys. I'm telling you.
They said it was for the privacy of the victim. Yeah.
Somehow
funny,
I doubt that's what they care about.
funny they didn't take any George Floyd excuse me, footage down for the privacy of the victim or anything like
That's
that.
funny.
3-day funeral for him, like on TV.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't fly out the guys that do the fucking the dance, the coffin dance. I'm surprised they didn't fly them out.
They have the Globetrotters there and shit.
Oh my god. The Globetrotters, Black Dynamite, you know, the whole crew.
Yeah.
Also, play this. This is New York City PBA. I guess that's the Police Benevolence Association, possibly. Let me make sure that's what that is. Let me pause this. Yes, Police Benevolent Association of New York. Let's go ahead and play that. Pat Lynch. On the effect of the anti-police movement, our
That's her last
politicians
name.
our politicians want us to walk away from our communities and abandon you. Let's play it right now.
Asking us to pull back. They're asking us to pull back. They're asking us to walk away from you. They're asking us to abandon our communities. They're asking me to walk away from where I live. They're asking me to walk away from where I work. They're asking us to walk away from the neighborhoods that we brought back. And that's what's happening. And you know what? We don't have a choice. If we put our hands on the criminal, you're going to jail. I'm not being dramatic. That's how bad it is. No one's read the bills. They're following the crowd.
All right, there goes the
wow
policeman there. All right. It talks
So
about
Fonz works for the police department.
Miss Hitler.
I was about to say, it does look like fun.
He did, didn't he? Hey! Sit on it. Hey! Oh, hey!
Hey! Oh, we're gonna be under arrest. Oh.
Hey! Man accused of killing David Dorn had been sentenced to 7 years in 2014, but he never served a day, Gator. Stephen Cannon, the man charged with murdering retired St. Louis police captain David Dorn during the recent riots, had previously been convicted of felony robbery, and sentenced to 7 years in prison. However, the judge in that case suspended Cannon's sentence and granted the murder suspect probation, meaning Cannon never saw jail time. He then went on to violate his probation twice, but was offered leniency by the court and was never sent to jail. The 24-year-old now stands accused of the murder of Dorn, who was attempting to protect the pawn shop of a friend the night of June 2nd. Cannon's previous felony robbery conviction occurred in 2014, meaning had he been serving his 7-year sentence, he would not have been on the streets the night he shot Dorn. Video surveillance from the night shows Cannon exiting the pawn shop alone, brandishing a weapon, and shooting Dorn before temporarily escaping. There is the man accused, Stephen Cannon, there on the Killstream screen. Thoughts, gentlemen?
This is why criminal justice reform is so important. 2014, it was 2014. But now it's 2020, and I've made sure that not only will he be on the street, but he'll never have to go to court in the first place. Believe me. Fucking idiot.
He, wow. He really, he looks like a long-term Antifa member, I would have to say. I'm not sure how long that term has been, but any thoughts, Worski, within reason?
He looks like an upstanding citizen. Am I right, guys? I'm sure he did not deserve any of those days in jail.
See, this is why criminal justice reform is absolute bullshit. and this is coming from somebody that's naturally skeptical of authority figures in general. You know, I'm not like, rah, police are always right. But the problem with criminal justice reform and the people that are pushing it is that they're all fucking criminals or people that support criminals. Of course they want the system to be made easier and simpler and to have all these cases fucking thrown out so they can go and burn down and steal shit and murder people. That's the whole fucking point.
Well, if you want to fucking go buy some, like, say you want to buy a nice watch, right? You're like, oh, like a nice $300 to $500 watch. You want to go pimp. You've worked your ass off. You made your money. Now you buy it. Why work? If there's no cops, or if it's easy, or it's easy to steal, or they'll be like, fucking lenient on you. Fucking yoink. Put it in your pocket and book it.
If there's no rules, if it's all anarchy, then just
why work for anything? Why work for anything?
You know what the rule of anarchy is? The rule of anarchy is whoever has the most power rules.
Yeah.
All right, now let me read this right here. Christopher Columbus. This is in Richmond a couple hours ago. This is here where I'm at. Christopher Columbus statue torn down, thrown in lake by protesters. Christopher Columbus statue has been torn down, thrown in the lake in downtown Richmond. The Columbus statue is located in Bird Park, which, yes, I know where that's at. It looks like they set it on fire as well.
Shit.
If you can see this photograph here. That was in downtown Richmond, probably like, I don't know, 8 minutes or so from my house. That's Columbus statue.
I want to see a video of you, Ralph, trying to take it out of the water.
Statue, yes, here it is. The statue was also set on fire before being thrown in the lake. I'll see if they have. I don't see any video on it just yet.
That's a waste of matches, right? Someone's like, dude, it was on fire. Why'd you have to fucking? Okay, you could have let it burn for a minute, dick.
Oh wait, here we do have video. Hold on. Let's pull this up, and we'll get you some video. There goes the link. Let me see how that looks. Let me see.
Yeah, Ralph, thank God you have video of your country's history burning. Oh, phew.
Oh,
we could all
woo! God, we got that one on video.
That should make us feel better, right?
Yeah. All right, let's hit it right now.
Pulled to the ground in Richmond tonight, the Christopher Columbus statue in Bird Park targeted. Let's take a look here if we can get that video up of the aftermath. The statue ended up in a nearby lake.
We have live team coverage for you tonight. 8 News reporter Sarah Fox starts us off. And Sarah, what are you seeing out there? Well, Juan and Constance, it's clear protesters here in Richmond are trying to make a statement by tearing down symbols in the city that to many are a painful reminder of the past.
Olivia
Just take
Munn's
a look
hotter
here.
sister.
A Christopher Columbus statue was knocked over and thrown here into the lake. There's also a makeshift headstone that says racism, you will not be missed. Now here's video of where the statue used to stand in Bird Park. Around 8:30 tonight, protesters used 3 ropes to pull Columbus down and drag the statue about a 2-minute walk away into the landing at Fountain Lake. Now all that's left is a sign that says Columbus represents genocide. I spoke with a protester who admitted to helping topple over the statue. They say it wasn't planned. It was a buildup over time after chanting, "Tear it down." The person said they love Richmond, but there are too many reminders of racism. Now here, there is no police presence at this time, but again, this is the second statue to be knocked down in a matter of days in the city. Reporting live tonight in Richmond, Sierra Fox, 8 News.
Sierra Fox, Fox indeed, they're on the scene. Well, that was a sad story, but that is breaking here in Richmond. That just happened tonight. Also, I hear something. Where's that coming from?
Oh yeah. Oh, that scared me. Yeah.
Where is that?
A channel.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I had to mute. God damn it. Oh wait. Okay. Hold on, I had to mute. I was like, "Where's that coming from?" Okay, I'm back. Go ahead.
Yeah. Wait. Let me send this. I'm. Okay. This is. Okay. This is gonna be funny. Hang on. I'm gonna put it in show links. I had to clip it This is what played right after. Can you
All right.
fucking? Yeah, there you go.
Hold on.
That quote kind of remind me of
Let me pull it. Protesters marched down Arthur Ashe en route to Bird Park Tuesday night, and it says, "Black people built this country, and we can burn it too." That's what it said. That's Black Sin is Amazing right there, marching down the street from Friday. It sounds like what I said to D Live as well, I think.
Yeah,
actually.
that's why I clipped it. Yo, Ralph, that's why I started dying. Oh my god! But you were obviously just drunk, and you don't believe
No,
that.
of course not. Of course not. I don't
Wait,
believe
wait,
that.
It took you a minute. It took you a minute to
It
figure
took
out
me
what
a
I
minute.
meant.
It took me a minute for it to click over. Yeah.
Okay.
It did take a second. Then I was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds exactly what I said to do." Like what I said to do. All right.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
KP77 says, "Hey, so we're all thinking of leaving the U.S., right?" I've thought about it, but I don't know about that. Black Phillip says, "Ralph, get statue now for your studio. Make Bibble help. Get a statue of Sierra Fox, possibly for the studio here. Maybe just that." No, I'm just kidding. Based Alaska, go ahead. You're on the kill stream.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up?
Hey, what's up, bud?
Nothing much. I'm in a place in Texas that is colloquially called Bumfuck.
Bumfuck nowhere.
It's hard to hear you, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard to hear.
All right, hold on.
I turned you up a little bit, but hurry, go ahead. Oh shit!
There we go. That's a bit better.
That's a little bit better.
Yeah, I took off my headphones. But anyways, I'm like in the country hood out here, man. And it's kind of sketchy. I got a strap right next to me. I'm building fences out here, and basically everyone working with me is a felon, and they're all white.
Oh wow, that's good people.
Yeah, I mean they're very friendly and all that. It's just
yeah.
This is my buddy from high school, and now
What's
I'm
wrong
out
with
here.
Wait, what's wrong with felons that are white? What's your problem?
There's nothing wrong. It's just like there's all these people out here that are having hard times, and people are with all these protests and riots, and they're all talking about, these black people that are so down and out, and then, there's tens of millions of people like this out here that no one just gives a fuck about.
Exactly.
It's really disheartening.
Your friendly neighborhood live stream host, they exactly included.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, how'd you get that salmon, by the way?
I agree. I got it. I haven't eaten it yet because I just put it right in the freezer because I had to go to town. But I was just thinking about that salmon. Now that you called.
Yeah, make a cream cheese dip out of that. That's what I usually do.
That would be good. I'll think about that. You got anything else real quick?
Nope, I gotta wake up and build more fences tomorrow. So you guys have fun.
Thank you, sir. I'll definitely let you know about the salmon. It looks like it's going to be excellent. I appreciate you sending it.
Yep. Peace.
Thank you, man. Let's see. Jay Forte, lightning round, go.
Hey, you guys kind of stole my thunder with the whole erasing history thing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Maybe we just remake Gone with the Wind, a la like they did the Harriet Tubman movie last year. Like turn her into a strong action hero.
That's a good idea.
We should do that, yeah.
Like kind of like the Star Wars remakes. Instead of Han shot first, Hattie shot first.
We can make the Mexicans the slaves this time.
Well, they're not slaves. They're downtrodden. They're just trying to come here and make a living.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. We don't have to call them slaves, but they'll basically be slaves.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
All right, thank you.
You too, bud.
I appreciate it. He didn't like my idea there. Sorry. I'm the one writing this screenplay. Go ahead, Seeker Loather.
Just give me 1 minute. I have a message from the great motherland. A very bad morning to Australian listeners of Eastern Ralph Radio. Please, stop. Please. You said many times that you don't want to be. Oh, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear.
All right. I guess I have a simple message to Australian viewers, listeners of Ethan Ralph Radio. You don't complain when we don't want to buy your grass, when we don't want to buy your rocks, when we send mines to study in your stinking country, when we don't want to send tourists over here. You said time and time again, you stinking Australians, that you want to be economically independent from us. So don't complain when you wish God granted. Goodbye.
Thank you, Sika. Senecal, go ahead.
Hello. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, potato N-word time. So hello. I just wanted to say, did any of you guys hear about Steam? They're kind of taking the gay pill. My friend,
The gay pill.
my best friend,
Oh.
his name on Steam was I'm not even sure if I'll say it, but he's had it for 5 years, and he got something yesterday or last evening saying you need to change it within like the next day. Like he can change it for like in a whole day. Until, like, I don't know, it's some fucking weird gay shit. I don't know why.
Was it the F slur?
No, it was okay. I will say it. It was fisting dogs for pleasure, and that was his name for 5 years. For pleasure, and that was his name for 5 years.
15 dogs for
Is
pleasure
your
was his name.
friend a furry? Is your friend a furry by any chance?
No, he is not. He is not.
Is this Ian Miles Chong where he would stick the flashbang up the dog's ass?
No, he did
Oh,
not
okay.
do that.
Alright.
But yeah, it was fucking weird. I don't know why. Steam.
Your friend's a fucking weirdo. What the fuck? God damn.
No, it was-
Sick
Gay
fuck.
pill. How does that have to do with the gay pill? What are you talking about?
Sounds like
it
they
just-
took the good decency pill. What do you mean?
No.
Fuck fisting dogs.
It was just a fucking funny thing. But it was also too, some Russian guy got like banned where he can't like play any Steam games anymore. Some guy, some image like I don't know what it is. It's just they're doing some weird shit. And I don't know. I thought that was
It is funny. I'm glad you got in with it. Thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
no problem.
You have a
No
good
problem.
one.
I hope Fisting Dogs does okay within his new Steam
Oh
name.
man, I felt bad. That was
I feel
funny.
bad for Fisting Dogs.
Oh my god. You got to reinstate fisting dogs for pleasure. Go ahead.
Fisting
Speaking
dogs.
of fisting dogs for pleasure, here's Kyler. Go ahead, last caller.
I just plain don't like them.
Oh, yeah. No.
Me and Kyler were playing Civilization 6 earlier. He heard that rant that I said on your show when I came in, but like times like 3 and a little bit more nonsense.
Now I'm looking through. I think we covered everything that I wanted to cover. Tomorrow night we're going to have let's see, Mark Lobliner. God damn it, I keep saying his name. Anyway, the guy from Tiger Fitness, he's their chief marketing officer. He's going to be here. Warski is going to be popping off exercises live on stream. Warski's also going to be doing a stream right after this stream tonight over on dlive.tv/subcultured. Andy, what are you going to be talking about this evening?
Well, we're going to be going an extensive look into the downfall of YouTube, looking at Mersh's clip of him bashing and having a drama with Keemstar, as well as sort of a discussion on the degrading of the culture, of the Western culture, and everything. And then I have to play that fucking game, Visage or whatever. Oh, dude, I'm not looking forward to that. Come check me out, guys.
Check him out. Thank you, Mr. Andy Warski. I appreciate it, man. Go fire it up.
All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Peace out.
Peace.
Gator, tell him.
I'll tell him. Twitter.com/GatorGamer, dlive.tv/Gator, and YouTube.com/TheGatorGamer. I'll do something eventually, someday.
You better. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man.
No problem, buddy. Have a good one.
You too. All right, Killstream.live. Again, Killstream.live. That's a great place to bookmark where you can always figure out stuff. Also, if you'll just subscribe to the podcast feed, that is great. If you're listening to us, part of the podcast gang, please leave a review if you have time. That helps us in the podcast rankings, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. It's doing so well on podcast. I really do appreciate that. Drumboy02 says, great show tonight, guys. Thank you so much, Drumboy. Pensive Cowboy says, Sika, bad news for you, bud. H.O. Dog, now I'm dead. That's a really sad tale. that I hope is not true. Also, breaking news: the week of let's see, May the 31st through June the 6th, homicides were up 250% in Los Angeles, and victims shot went up 56% compared to the previous week. The past 24 hours has seen 4 shootings, one of those resulting in a homicide. Detectives are following leads to ID and arrest the suspects, but we're also asking for your help. That was a press release from, let's see, Tuesday afternoon from the Los Angeles Police Department as part of my public service duties. I have relayed it to you here today. That's it. Good night. Thank you so much for the support. T-shirts are still coming out slowly. I know it's taken a while. A lot of people, I've noticed other people's had problems with this too, with other creators and stuff. So it's not just me, but I apologize. Slowly but surely they're sending shirts out. So just please hang tight on that. But yes, I appreciate the support with the shirts. I'll have some bonus content up soon. Patreon.com/The Ralph Retort, newproject2.com/The Ralph Retort. I'll get subscribe star up soon too. A lot of stuff I have to do. Anyway, long story short, thank you for the support and good night. Go watch Worski. Killstream Uncut. Shout out to the restream.
Sunset the Killstream. The other night, friends, when I went to tune in, I saw the Killstream had been struck down again. Secret flags and reports, but we all know who's to blame. Can't afford the retort. Jihadi Jarbo's his name. Now you won't take them round, or all them channels you strike. So just delete your account. I'm sure there's boulders to find. You can't peacefully sunset the Killstream. You never peacefully sunset the Killstream. You won't peacefully sunset the Killstream.
video. Appreciate that, sir.